this gentleman right here.
Who is your favorite?
Because I like your sideburns, man.
I'm Ben Giraldi, and I grew up just a mile away from here, and Mack's Apples has been a big part of my life, and it's kind of surreal to see you here. But great. So my question is, who is your favorite past president of the United States, and why?
I suppose I'm biased because I'm from Illinois. But there's a tall, skinny guy who the Washington folks didn't think had much experience, who had served in the state legislature there and then a couple years in Congress before taking on the presidency, who did pretty well. I am a great admirer of Lincoln's, not because he's perfect. He's been mythologized in all sorts of ways. He was cautious and slow to the cause of emancipation. He was very much a politician in that sense, and never got too far ahead of at least the northern populations in their attitudes towards race relations. But he is somebody who had the capacity to draw on the best of the American people and to see the good, or at least the points of view of the whole country. And that didn't make him paralyzed. He was still very decisive, but he was able to see the world through other people's eyes and stand in their shoes, and had great empathy and great feeling for his fellow man, and yet was extraordinarily honest and unbelievable integrity, and yet was still able to make some very difficult decisions, and that quality is very rare. And one that I really appreciate. The other thing that anybody who's read the recent biography of Team of Rivals, it's a wonderful book by Doris Kearns Goodwin, and she talks about how he was great about bringing people together who disagreed. He had a cabinet full of people who had run against him, and some of them were trying to run against him the next time, but they were very smart and very competent, and he was confident enough to have independent minds around him so that he could bring in all points of view before making a decision. That doesn't sound like our current president, but it will be our next president's way of doing our business. So, gentlemen in the nice-looking hat up there.
Healthcare issue. How can the President and the Republican Party get away saying that they're for life support, want to roll back Roe v. Wade, and yet stand in the way of expanding the S-chip program, which in this state has been a miracle for parents who are not necessarily poor, but too pressed economically to be able to support their family and support the health insurance industry, which over the last 5 years has made unconscionable profits, far more than the pharmaceutical industry.
It is inexcusable. We should override it. I will fight to override the veto. We have enough votes in the Senate to override it. We need 15 more votes in the House. So you've got to put your pressure on any Republican congressman to change their vote on this. Just understand this. We are talking about $35 billion in spending to expand S-chip. The president has requested $190 billion for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan over the next year. $190 billion. So he decides to make his stand on fiscal constraint after spending like a drunken sailor, after not vetoing any of the Republican pork-laden budgets that have been coming up over the last 6 years. This is where he wants to make his stand on children's health insurance. It's inexcusable. So, now, as president, as president, I'm committed to not just making sure children have health insurance, we're going to make sure every person has health insurance. And my attitude is, you pay my salary as a taxpayer, your health insurance should be at least as good as mine. So we've put forward a proposal that will provide health insurance to every American. We'll set up a government plan. You can keep the plan you've got if you like it. If you want to buy into the government plan, or a small employer wants to buy into it, you can. We will subsidize you if you can't afford it. You will not be banned from any plan based on a pre-existing condition. I know something about that. My mother, as she was dying of cancer, had to deal with this issue because she had gotten sick right as she took a new job, and there was some question of whether it was a pre-existing condition or not. And so I know what it's like to see a family member suffer, not just from an illness, but from a broken healthcare system. We're going to put more money into prevention. We're going to put more money into information technology to improve quality and cut costs. And we're going to have a catastrophic care component that helps to control the rise in premiums for employers who are providing insurance to their employees, as long as they pass those savings on to the employees in the form of lower premiums. Now, the truth is, here's some honesty in advertising. There is not that much difference between my plan, John Edwards' plan, Hillary Clinton's plan. They're 95% the same. And they're all of them would be good. Vast improvements over what we have now. Not hard. But the question you have to ask yourself in this election is, who is going to be in the best position to overcome the insurance industry, to push back on the drug industry, in order to actually get something happen, so that 4 years from now you don't have a bunch of other candidates standing in front of you saying, we've got to do something about health care. And one thing I'm absolutely clear about, I have got experience bringing people together to get tough stuff done. In the Illinois Senate, I brought Democrats and Republicans together to provide 150,000 more people health insurance. I've got a track record of overcoming special interests to get things done. And I think we've got to build a movement and shine a spotlight on the process whereby the health care plan is being negotiated. We can't make the mistake that was made in 1993 of going behind closed doors when 80% of the United States wanted universal health care, and we didn't get it done because it was so tightly controlled and you didn't get the American people involved with it, that as a consequence, the insurance and the drug companies were able to use those Harry and Louise ads to turn everybody against what should have been done 15 years ago. Yes, go ahead, with the camera. Do we have, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had two cameras, but yes, everybody's got a camera these days. We live in the YouTube age.
You were right on my topic just now. Long-term care insurance. I know people are spending a fortune to get it, and we experienced it in my family when my father